A man brutally murders his neighbour, Mr Boorman, on his own front lawn, following a long-running dispute. Matthew's wife is also injured in the attack, the whole incident witnessed by their 12-year-old son.
I've just run out around the corner, and as I've come around the corner, I'm greeted by the attacker on top of one of the victims, repeatedly stabbing him during broad daylight. I mean, this is 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I thought I needed to go and grab something, and I knew the neighbours that I'm on the houses, so I was running their back garden just to find anything. Went out to try and confront him. But what I didn't know is obviously his intention was to carry on attacking other people. So then it was a case of just shouting at the neighbours, get them in the house, get them to lock the door. And somehow I've dropped a bit of wood that I was using to defend myself. The attackers come out, so I'm stood there facing them thinking, well, I've got nothing at that point to defend myself. So
I was asleep upstairs ready for a night shift, and there was a knock on the door from one of the neighbours. My partner, Annie, who was 8 months pregnant, answered it and said, there's something going on down the road.
I just hear, right, Steve, and then you got someone you know from work, someone you know and trust is suddenly stood next to you, golf club in hand, handing me a golf club. Yeah, definitely a sight for sore eyes, that's for sure.
Steve said to me he was happier to see me on that day than he was to see his wife on his wedding day. Everyone knows, we're all given the same training. So as a result of that, he knew to look on his left shoulder and I knew to look on my right shoulder. And that's how it was for pretty much the entire time.
The firearms mobiles arrived, so I knew they've got better first aid kits, so I made sure that they got to the second victim to make sure he was cared for. Made sure that the weapon was secured because other officers were coming from all over the place by this point. So it wasn't until I knew everything was in hand, you could then do that big exhale, and then you start thinking about what had happened and that effect of that, and it was horrific and it's surreal.